Super Bowl LIX kicks off on Sunday. And there's something that could happen that I really don't want to see happen. I'll give some thoughts on the game, talk about the Rockets' 5-game losing streak, and worse, some danger that they could potentially be in on Saturday. And I guess there's an Alex Bregman update. Finally, my least favorite person who's in the sports world is back in the news again. And I'm going to go on a rant based in jealousy. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
Are you kidding me? Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. I am Paul Gallant. It is Friday. Got to get down on Friday, February 7th, 2025, live on YouTube at Paul Gallant, on Twitch at Gallant Says, on X or Twitter at Gallant Says, on Instagram at Sports Gallant, and on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, Monday through Friday around 4 p.m. Central Time and occasionally after major Houston sporting events. It's also available after the fact wherever you get your podcasts on Apple and Spotify. If you want to cut me off mid-thought, super chat me on YouTube or Twitch, and I'll play this and answer your questions right away.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
It is an Ask Gallant Anything Friday, so super chat away. I'll answer your question. I will eventually get to all of your comments, though. Super Bowl 59 is on Sunday. The Chiefs are 1-point favorites against the Philadelphia Eagles on the verge of a potential three-peat. And I gotta admit, I'm a little terrified. Have you ever based your entire identity on something that you have no control over? A cult-like worship of something that you assume would be a constant for your entire life and would remain a constant into eternity? That's me and Tom Brady. For those of you who don't know, while I might be the host of a Houston sports radio show, having done it for 2011 to 2025. Oh my God. For 12 of the last 14 years, I grew up in Massachusetts. The reason I love sports is because I grew up going to New England Patriots games. I was at Tom Brady's first ever game against the New York Jets. I did not think that Tom Brady, after Drew Bledsoe got knocked out of that game, would turn into Tom Brady in that moment right there. But with the Patriots winning the Super Bowl that year, winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years after that, and then all the success afterwards, I based who I was off of that team. In retrospect, it's crazy now that I've gotten a little bit older and have matured. I understand that I was perhaps in the 1% of psychotic Patriots fans. But, I mean, this was my identity. When I moved to Florida, when my parents split up, I moved to St. Petersburg, Florida to begin high school. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the defending Super Bowl champions. And as I moved down to Florida, I told every single one of my new high school classmates who were celebrating the defending champion Bucs, you guys ain't shit. Tom Brady and the Patriots are better than you. And guess what happened? The Patriots won the Super Bowl my freshman year and my sophomore year of high school. So I became the sports savant of my high school who was just so psychotically obsessed with Boston that if you said anything at all that questioned that city's greatness in sports, I would come after you and come after you hard, but especially if it was Tom Brady or the Patriots. all those Super Bowl appearances later, all of those Super Bowl victories later, here we are looking at a world where Patrick Mahomes, who, if I'm not mistaken, isn't even 30 years old, 29, could do something that Brady never did, came close to, which is to three-peat in a Super Bowl. No quarterback has done that in the Super Bowl era. And here I am completely fucking terrified that Mahomes is going to get it done. Because if Mahomes gets it done, can I even talk shit as a sports fan anymore? Can I be an arrogant asshole and look down at people who root for sports teams based entirely off of where their parents boinked and had them? It's a dumb thing to do, but for me, for most of my life, it's been like my most important card in my back pocket, the ace in my hole. Can always bring that to the front and just bam, slam it on the table. Yeah, I root for the Patriots. Who do you root for? Yeah, I grew up watching Tom Brady. I know football a little bit better than you. In the last couple of years, I've turned it into a bit of a joke, but for a long time, this was my entire identity. I would go to church. The last thing I would pray for at Catholic Mass was for the Patriots to win on Sunday, every single Sunday. I still think about the undefeated season that could have been, where the Giants beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 42, the other Super Bowl against the Giants, that other Super Bowl against the Eagles. And while there have been so many good memories along the way, like the possibility of Patrick Mahomes getting a three-peat, even with Tom Brady being 2-0 against him in the playoffs, scares the shit out of me. So, with that in mind, it's time for a little prayer. I'm going to try to set the mood here. I don't just have one Tom Brady candle that I'm trying to light. As you can see, here's one. I have two Tom Brady candles. And while this studio now may be a bit of a fire hazard, it is time for us to pray. And by us, I mean me. Can we get these both in here? I think we can. It's Tom Brady facing both the way. There we go. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady, lend us your wisdom and smite the heretic Patrick Mahomes. Yes, even if it gives the scum of Philadelphia another Super Bowl. Amen. We're going to leave these candles on. If the studio catches fire. Paul, you're in your mom's basement. What are you talking about? Shut up. If the studio catches fire, you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is, well, this thing's just going to go up in smokes. It would be a fun live stream, wouldn't it, if that happens? But, yeah, my entire identity is based off of Tom Brady and the Patriots. And if the Chiefs win on Sunday, I'm going to be sad. And here's the thing. It's very hard to pick against the Chiefs, even though if you look at the actual football side of things, the Eagles match up with Kansas City very well in a variety of different ways. First off, pass rush. It's incredible. You got Jalen Carter in the middle. He has been an absolute freak of nature on the defensive line this year. You've also got, on that very same defense, Jordan Davis, huge human being. You've got all sorts of fast linebackers. You got Nolan Smith flying around. And you got Zach Bond, who actually might be able to match up with Travis Kelce. You got Quinion Mitchell at corner. Darius Slay still kicking it. You've also got Cooper DeJean, the white cornerback, bringing it back. Hell, the Eagles have 2 white defensive backs, Reed Blankenship. They've got a really good defense. And this is a Kansas City Chiefs offense that isn't as explosive. Is Zach Bond going to be able to stick with Travis Kelce for a whole game? The Houston Texans wish they had a linebacker like Zach Bond that could cover Kelce that way, because Kelce, that was his best game of the playoffs against the Texans a couple of weeks ago. So you got that. Then you got the Eagles offensive line. I have no idea how they move on from Jason Kelce and continue to be the same offensive line. Shout out to Chris Myers, who I saw was peeking in on Instagram, the greatest center in Houston Texans history. I don't know how they continue to do it. But between Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, I mean, goddamn, that's the best tackle tandem probably in the league. Mailata's 6'8", can do an amazing Bane impression. I don't know if you saw that during that game against the Commanders, where at a certain point during the game, with the Eagles kicking their ass, he said, I was wondering what would break first, your mind or your body? Just in the midst of a game. They got 2 of the best receivers in the game in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They've got Dallas Goedert playing fantastic. They got Saquon Barkley, who ran for 2,000-plus yards. They got Jalen Hurts. This is a fucking awesome team. They really are. Going up against a Chiefs defense that is good, but not as good as they were last year. They don't have L'Jarius Sneed anymore. They do have Chris Jones, but this is a team that struggled to stop James Cook in the AFC Championship game. There's so many things that you could look at with the Eagles and say, yeah, they're going to pull this one off. Until you just think about Kansas City's holy trinity. You might have heard me praying to Tom Brady just a moment ago. Kansas City has Andy Reid, one of the best head coaches in league history. They got Steve Spagnuolo, one of the best defensive coordinators in NFL history. And they have Patrick Mahomes. And sure, there are some other pieces too. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Chiefs were 15-2 this year. They're an incredible team. But you actually can talk yourself into Philly beating this Kansas City team until you talk about the most important pieces here. And I'm listening to a couple of podcasts on my way in to do the radio show today, and I can't believe how many people picked Philadelphia. And after a certain point, I think we have to realize that you just don't pick against Mahomes and you just don't pick against Andy Reid. This combination is just one you don't do. If the Eagles pull off the 1-point upset, which wouldn't really be an upset in the eyes of many, I think most of us will actually be surprised. Even the people who are picking the Eagles. But too many people are picking them, and I feel like we're doing the same thing that so many people have done with the Patriots in the past. Oh, yeah, they can't keep doing it. They can't? I don't know. Some of these teams, they just figure out ways to do it over and over and over again. And Kansas City, by this point, should have earned your respect. Patrick Mahomes, by this point, should have earned your respect. You should be scared shitless of picking against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't think enough people are, just based off of listening to a couple of podcasts talking about the game going into today. And I really do think this is a good Philadelphia Eagles team. And even though a lot of my family, half of them are from Philadelphia, gave me a lot of shit after the Patriots-Eagles last Super Bowl that Nick Foles won, I still want them to win this game. But I think I'm more rooting against the Chiefs. And it's entirely because I just don't want the Chiefs to have a three-peat and Patrick Mahomes to have a three-peat on Tom Brady. I suppose at the very least, even if Patrick Mahomes is able to pull this off, get his 4th Super Bowl. He's not even 30. Oh, my God. He'll still have to get 3 more to surpass Brady. But wouldn't you think he could do it? Isn't a 4-peat actually possible? Woof. But if you are a Chiefs fan, enjoy this. Enjoy this moment. This could be something really special. And if you actually got to go to this game in New Orleans, I am jealous. Because this is a fun time to be in New Orleans. Right before Mardi Gras. It's a good time. The weather's good. It's not too hot, not too sticky. I'm jealous. I truly am very jealous. I want to go to Cafe Du Monde. Oh, more importantly, I want to go to Mother's. You ever been to Mother's? Mother's is fantastic. Best po' boy I've ever had. MyBookie.ag, promo code BET975. It's the best place to bet on the game. I was thinking about who I want to bet on for MVP. Saquon Barkley's been a trendy pick, but he's plus 250. And did you know that we haven't seen a running back win Super Bowl MVP since Super Bowl 32? Yeah, that was Terrell Davis. I was 8. That was the first Super Bowl I was allowed to watch the whole Super Bowl. That long ago. That's the last time a running back won. I suppose if there ever was a time for it to happen, it would be this time, given what Saquon Barkley's done this year. But it almost always goes to a quarterback, a wide receiver, or a defensive lineman. I feel like Travis Kelce at plus 1,500 is the play on that front. If you are a gambling person. There's also some other fun bets that I've seen online. Whether it's what will Donald Trump say first in an interview with Brett Baer, Super Bowl, or Make America Great Again, to will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift after the game, to even worse, will Donna Kelce, Travis Kelce's mother, have cleavage showing with whatever she's wearing? I swear to God I saw that. If you're a degenerate, you got all sorts of ways to make money. I'm not a fan of Super Bowl commercials. I don't think they've been entertaining in a really long time. I feel like some of them are trying a little bit too hard to be funny, and it's not working. Others are being a little bit too nostalgic, and others take themselves too seriously. Every single car commercial, please, I get it. Like, you want to suck your own dick. You want to go full Marilyn Manson. But can you please stop? Your car. Probably overpriced. Probably can't afford it. Can we fuck off? Please. Thank you. That would be nice. Speaking of fucking off, that's what the Houston Rockets have been doing for the last 5 games. Yikes. It has been rough watching the Houston Rockets. They have now lost 5 games in a row after a very disappointing performance against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota in last night's game, coming off of a back-to-back where Anthony Edwards had to work to get 49 points, up to about, I want to say, like 7 minutes left in the game, had never had a lead of more than 3 points, but they ultimately pulled away from the Rockets, 127-114. What really pisses me off about this game is that the Rockets are too young to look like they're out of breath and out of gas at the end of a game against the team on the second night of a back-to-back. So I'm glad that after this game that Ime Udoka, head coach of the Houston Rockets, does what he almost always does, which is to call his players out.
Because they got after it in the fourth quarter and we kind of wilted. So, it's what we've done. But, it's the identity we kind of formed was being a tougher team, aggressive team, and now we look like one of the softest teams in the league. At the end of the day, when you're minus 21, minus 14, minus 15, minus 14 with your starters, it's going to be hard to win games.
One of the softest teams in the league called out the entire starters for the negative point differential. And I don't blame him. He should. He should. This is one of those games where I do wonder, looking back, if you'll say, yeah, this is where the Rockets found themselves playing their way all the way down to the play-in tournament. I mean, yikes. Not being able to stop Anthony Edwards down the stretch when Edwards clearly had to be more tired than all these young Rockets players. I mean, he went through all the playoffs last season, and hell, stamina was an issue for him. Maybe in the offseason he worked on it, but he had a couple of and ones in the last 6 minutes, and after that moment, the second of them, it felt like the Rockets quit. So when you got someone like Ime Udoka running the show, you're going to get more call-outs. Here's more Ime Udoka dumping on his players after a really pathetic loss.
First quarter, we were extremely soft on him, and he got way too comfortable. Didn't follow the game plan as far as how we wanted to guard him, and went under a bunch of pick and rolls early. Obviously, he's number one in the league in attempted threes off the dribble and percentage-wise, so let him get in the rhythm there. Obviously, 18 early in the first half, 8 free throws first quarter, so got after it better in the second quarter. He only had 3 points there, went after him a little bit, but yeah, when we went after him fourth, couldn't trap him, couldn't guard him one-on-one, couldn't get through pick and rolls, and so it's nice to have a special player that can get buckets at the end.
That last part really stinks. They don't have a guy like that right now. They don't have that. I don't know what they're supposed to do going forward as far as getting somebody who closes out better. I think they are stuck with what they've got this year, and you're hoping that Amen Thompson takes a step forward next year. But Jalen Green, I think, has proven he is not that guy, and I wonder if he is the number one piece that you use as part of a trade this offseason, because now there's rumors surrounding Kevin Durant that the Rockets or other teams might make a run at him and that he just wants out. And since the Suns probably don't have a whole lot of leverage going forward, I think that that is going to lend itself to perhaps a favorable deal for Houston or whatever other team might want Kevin Durant. Devin Booker's another matter, but would you trade Jalen Green for Durant? When you see a game like last night, even with Durant being 37 next year, I think you do think about it. Would he be happy here long term? I don't know, but I think he would gel with Ime Udoka. But they do not have a guy who can close on this team. And you just can't find guys like Anthony Edwards very easily. He is one of a kind, as you saw down the stretch. I think some people were going back and forth about Ime Udoka after last night's game. Why is he calling out the players? And I feel like that's a little bit too many of the people who are young and got used to Steven Silas being so nice talking about his players after every single fucking loss. I think those people, you need to be shaken violently, perhaps by Ime Udoka, so that you have a little bit higher standards for the product that you're seeing out there. 5 losses in a row is unacceptable. Ime should call these players out when they suck. I like that there's a coach that does that. I'm sure he's doing it privately too, not just through the media. He's a huge dude. Of course he's going to motherfuck him behind the scenes. I think he's 6'9". And he does it in like a scarier way because he's not doing it with a whole lot of energy. He's not doing it with a whole lot of emotion. You know? He's like, hey, you guys are fucking soft down the stretch. We're working on an Ime Udoka impersonation. We're going to try to have a good one by the end of the season. That's the goal the rest of the way. But they've been bad in the fourth quarter, and you can't really figure out why. I saw a stat put out there last night, and I think it's their fourth quarter differential since the start of February, and I think it's a -46. It's insane. I mean, we're not talking about that many games. We're like a week in. But they've been really bad down the stretch for the entirety of this 5-game losing streak. They're not being aggressive enough, but they're also losing energy. And that is weird. How, when your team has so many young players, is that a problem for you? Fred VanVleet's not even playing. I know that hurts a little bit. And maybe that's the reason that they keep on losing. But how do you have zero energy at the end of a game when the team you're playing just played a back-to-back? Here is Ime Udoka talking about those fourth quarter struggles after last night's game.
We got to get over that mental block of whatever's happening in the fourth and why we can't sustain leads and get points. And so, obviously, 16 is not enough. We're on pace for 130, and like I said, we only had 8 points in the first 8 minutes. So, I don't know if it's, like I said, a mental block that we are struggling in the fourth quarter for some reason. They didn't do anything different defensively, and it's been a problem maintaining leads and scoring in the fourth. So. Yeah, you'd like your scorers to be more aggressive and take those shots, but at the same time, they make the right plays, and other guys have to step up, but I'm not seeing either.
Hopefully that changes. The Rockets play the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday in an environment that might be a little bit dangerous. What are you supposed to do if you're Ime Udoka and you got all these young players who are having these issues game in, game out? I can't help but think of Cartman in South Park impersonating the guy from Stand and Deliver.
How do I reach these kids?
That's what I'm thinking of in a moment like this. What's Ime thinking to himself? Like, how do I get more out of these guys? Dylan Brooks spoke after the game. This isn't going to make you feel much better about the Rockets' headspace, because he was asked what the Timberwolves did down the stretch offensively that maybe made it difficult for you guys. And he gave this answer and then an even worse one after a follow-up question.
What were they doing that made it difficult in the fourth quarter, particularly for you guys?
Nothing. They played the same defense. We just, couldn't hit shots. And we're waiting to, put up a shot in late in the shot clock.
With defending Anthony Edwards, obviously we've seen what he can do before, but was he doing anything in particular tonight as far as drawing the fouls that he did?
No, he was just getting his whistle called. Curtis and Matt calling all these calls, calling flopping. It's ridiculous. The guy goes to the line 18 times. You can't guard him. So I'm going to say, when is the defense going to ever get rewarded?
What the fuck is that? I really hate it when guys get mad at the referees. And I saw some people doing that after the game. This reminds me of the Bill Worrell play-by-play era of Rockets basketball, where Bill Worrell and Matt Bullard would get stuck on a call that happened in the game that didn't go the Rockets' way. Maybe it was a bad call, but they would not let it fucking go. Okay, Anthony Edwards did get to the free throw line a lot last night. I think it was close to 20 times. But, that's the reason that you guys looked legless the last 6 minutes of the game?
In particular tonight, as far as drawing the fouls that he did?
No, he was just getting his whistle called. Curtis and Matt calling all these calls, calling flopping. It's ridiculous. The guy goes to the line 18 times. You can't guard him. So I'm going to say, when is the defense going to ever get rewarded?
I mean, I agree conceptually with that point, but in football, when is the defense going to get rewarded? Maybe the defense gets rewarded if the Rockets can find somebody who can do this. Because if you play good defense down the stretch and you score down the stretch and you got a closer, then perhaps it'll work out for you. Some more references for you. A movie that I still have yet to see, and I need to at some point. I present to you Alec Baldwin in the movie Glengarry, Glenn Ross. Because the Rockets don't deserve any of this until they find a guy who can do this.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Indeed. No coffee for the Rockets. Coffee for me, and just me. They're going to play the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow afternoon, and it's been interesting continuing to watch the fallout for the Mavericks, for Nico Harrison, after they traded Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers for practically nothing. Here is Allie LaForce weighing in on that.
Coach, and Kid told us just moments ago.
Hang on a second. Let me put this on the TV.
He believes Anthony Davis does have the shoulders to carry this load. One big concern, though, is just the safety of the players, the front office. Going back to Dallas, we hope fans make the wise decision and remember that this is a game and that lives are far more important. Well, now we send...
What? The fuck is she talking about? Let's go back here.
The shoulders to carry this load. One big concern, though, is just the safety of the players, the front office.
Safety of the players are fine. The front office, okay. I'm sure there's been some death threats sent, and that is not a good thing. Don't do that, guys.
Going back to Dallas, we hope fans make the wise decision and remember that this is a game and that lives are far more important.
This is a game. Lives are far more important. Thank you, Allie LaForce and TNT and the NBA for that message. It's a very strange way to frame it.
Make the wise decision and remember.
Make the wise decision. What does she mean by that?
We hope fans make the wise decision and
we hope fans make the wise decision. What's the wise decision? Don't kill Nico Harrison? What a strange way to frame it. Just calling it the wise decision is weird. And look, they probably put her on the spot to say something like this, and it just comes out awkwardly. But make the wise decice. That's
remember that this is a game and that lives are far more important.
It's a game and lives are far more important. Well, thank you, Ali LaForce. We appreciate that contribution. This isn't the only thing that we've seen when it comes to the health and well-being of Dallas Mavericks players. Here's more. This is Tim McMahon.
Howdy, Malika. Listen, this is a heartbroken fan base, and there have been some very unfortunate developments regarding that anger, that angst. Nico Harrison has been subjected to death threats. There have been racial epithets included in some of those.
Okay, well, I've never really gotten racial epithets. I've gotten death threats before myself, humble brag, from the Chill Dog incident and some other ones as well. I generally find internet death threats to be full of shit. I think people just want to scare you, freak you out. Obviously, from time to time, they can be taken seriously. And maybe this time around with what the Mavericks did, trade Luka Doncic for not a whole lot and not seemingly do their due diligence to get the best possible deal. Yeah, I could see why some people might be losing their shit. I'm not endorsing it by any means. More Tim McMahon talking about the Mavericks and the threat that they're under.
Certainly security is going to be beefed up. There will be protests outside the arena, or at least those are planned. Security will absolutely be beefed up. Nico Harrison is not going to be in his normal seat in the stands. They just there's no reason to subject him to that kind of a security risk. So that has been
it's like he's the president.
Definitely an unfortunate part of this whole storyline. Obviously, the fans' anger, hey, they have every right to feel like they got a generational superstar ripped away from them, but clearly lines have been crossed.
Lines have been crossed. He said that a couple of times along the way there. Well, hopefully fans do the wise thing, and the Rockets play the Mavericks tomorrow afternoon. Are they at risk playing this game? Should they perhaps not go to Dallas? In case there's some sort of, to bring up Bane again, some sort of guy stepping in and blowing up the court or something. I don't know. Let's talk a little Astros for a moment. But first, some comments. Brandon Hallam, as far as Super Bowl 59, says, meteor, and asks, why does Bill Belichick have a hotter girlfriend than Brady? Well, I don't think Brady's dating someone right now. And if he is, do we know about him? I don't know. There's been some jokes made about who Brady's going after, too, by Rob Gronkowski. He's just done a very good job of keeping it quiet. But as someone who once had his father date someone significantly younger than him and only a couple of years older than me, it is a little weird. Dead Shred 9 says, Paul, please destroy that ugly fucking green and white shirt you had on yesterday. Ugly ass green polyester. Actually, it's made of bamboo, and that's my favorite shirt. It made me depressed. Be better, dude. We are supporting you. LOL. Sir, green brings out the green in my eyes. That shirt rules. I was wearing it for picture day, in addition to another shirt that I wore. I love that shirt, and you can go fuck off. But I appreciate you sticking around. He continues saying, we know Kansas City is going to win. The Eagles are better, but the NFL needs that three-peat for money, baby. I don't know. I feel like people aren't necessarily going to watch the NFL more if the Chiefs win again. I know there's an idea that people are not going to watch the Super Bowl this year as much as they have in years past. I'm not sure where that comes from, though, given the way that the AFC Championship game numbers were. I feel like the idea that the NFL is rigged actually might lead to more people watching, even though I don't believe that it's rigged. Brandon Halam in all caps, cheat Pete. And Dead Shred 9 says, yep, we watched the cheat here at NRG. Well, honestly, the Texans should cheat a little more. And speaking of cheating, the Astros did that once. As did all of baseball. Give it a fucking rest. So, Ari Alexander of Channel 2 reported the Astros have improved their initial offer to free agent third baseman Alex Bregman. However, that improved offer is unlikely to get the deal done, according to his source. I don't put a lot of stock into this deal, to this tweet. I don't. Where's the actual offer? And from what I understand, this is something that's probably being pushed out of Scott Boras's camp. What happens next? I don't know. Truly, I don't know who's going to step in and potentially give Bregman the offer that he's looking for, or if Alex Bregman is able to convince Scott Boras to maybe take a little bit less than what he's holding out for. I'll just say this, though. I think when it comes to Bregman, I'd like less of the rhetoric that we're getting where people are saying he clearly doesn't want to be an Astro anymore. No, he clearly wants to be paid, which is something Jose Altuve asked for. And people are acting like Altuve bent over backwards for him. No, he didn't. He said that I would do anything for him to stay here, but he also wants the Astros to pay him fairly, and he thinks he's not being offered a fair deal. Or maybe Scott Boras thinks he's not being offered a fair deal. Either way, I think the problem that really is taking place right now is everyone's just fucking sick of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the deal to be announced, whether it's Bregman with another team or Bregman back with the Astros. I think that we have fatigue over that, and it's lending itself to whenever you hear it being talked about, you're like, oh, this isn't actually a real update. We got people talking about doors. I think Ari Alexander was making cookie metaphors earlier today. So it's a lot of that. And you're just thinking to yourself, well, clearly no one wants him that much. Why doesn't he just take the deal that's on the table? If he really wants to be an Astro, why isn't he taking a little bit less? But I don't know. Think about it from this perspective. This is probably the last big contract he's ever going to get. If I were in his shoes, if you were in his shoes, wouldn't you think about holding out as long as you can to get the best possible deal you can? So maybe a couple of days from now, when it's time for Bregman to report to spring training, he says, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take less money. I'll join the Astros again. But miss me with this rhetoric like, oh, he doesn't want to be here. Oh, fuck him. Boo him when he comes back. No, we don't want to do that. Dead Shred 9 says, I have green eyes also. I do not intend to watch the Super Bowl. Not interested. I think a lot of people in Houston will not be watching it because of the way that Chiefs Texans went in their eyes. One last thing that I want to touch on before I get out of here, because this has randomly been a huge deal for me of late. Talking about Kayla Nicole. Kayla Nicole is Travis Kelce's ex. And last night, Kayla Nicole stunned everyone with her outfit on the NFL Honors red carpet. She was wearing a black dress. And I guess she was being a reporter for I Am Athlete, interviewing players on the red carpet. It's a weird look that she is now a part of I Am Athlete at the NFL Honors, the one that Travis Kelce's not at. But Okay, she's done some sports reporting in the past. I do think it's stolen valor, the kind of sports reporting she's doing. I think she's just a pretty lady with a microphone. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But today, I shit you not, I found so many headlines about Kayla Nicole and a bunch of the Swifties who have seen me go on a rant about how Kayla needs to just stop fucking talking about Travis Kelce. She gets asked questions about him a lot. She should politely decline to answer those questions. But whether it was on that TV show Special Forces or in an interview with several magazines, like, she constantly talks about him, talking about things like, I don't understand why Travis's friends and the wives and girlfriends of the Chiefs have frozen me out. Bro, you ain't dating him anymore. Can you just move on? But people, I think, realize that she generates clicks, so there's all sorts of headlines about her right now. The Times of India has this little passage about Kayla Nicole, and it makes me want to shoot myself. Kayla is no stranger to the spotlight, and this isn't her first time attending major events. Beyond her relationship with Kelce, Kayla has built a career as a knowledgeable sports broadcaster. Bullshit. With a degree from Pepperdine University. And she's clearly earned her place among the NFL elite. Yeah, fuck off with that. In fact, Kayla predicted that Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes would, quote, seal the deal in the upcoming Super Bowl, showing just how much football knowledge she brings to the table. That's not any fucking football knowledge. Fuck you, Times of India. What are you fucking talking about? Oh, you think Patrick Mahomes is going to win the Super Bowl? I suppose there's a lot of people that have been going a little bit hipster mode with Super Bowl LIX and saying that the Eagles are going to win this thing. But, oh, wow, Patrick Mahomes sealing the deal. She knows her stuff. She knows about football. Fuck off with that. More headlines about Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's ex, Kayla Nicole, nearly spills out of her tight black dress at the NFL Honors Awards ceremony. Okay. Seriously. That's from OK News. In a video shared on X, the YouTuber and sports personality, she is not a sports personality. She never talks sports. She just talks about Travis fucking Kelce, her ex, who she hasn't dated in 2 years. But people keep asking her about it because he's now dating Taylor Swift. Fuck! It won't stop. It won't stop! She paired the daring top with a sleek mermaid-cut maxi skirt in the same deep black hue. For footwear, she opted for silver stiletto heels and carried a glittering mini handbag for some extra sparkle. The fitness guru and the Kansas City Chiefs tight end had an on-again, off-again relationship. Okay, so she's a fitness guru. She's a sports broadcaster, YouTuber, sports personality. She fucking Barbie? Can we fuck off with this? More. Kayla Nicole. Many stars on the NFL Honors red carpet stopped to be interviewed by Kayla Nicole. The strikingly stylish social media personality and sports broadcaster, she's not a fucking sports broadcaster, was serving as a correspondent. A correspondent? Oh my God. Now we're using big terms to describe people. And being a reporter, fuck off with that. The media company founded by former NFL wide receiver Brandon Marshall that specializes in athlete and celebrity podcasts. That Nicole would grind on the job is no surprise. She recently won the Fox reality TV show Special Forces, World's Toughest Test. Well, she lasted to the end. I don't know if she won it. Oh my God. Like, why? Why are there so many headlines? There's another article that came out. Kayla Nicole said she asked Special Forces not to mention ex-Travis Kelce and was completely stunned when they did. No, you weren't. You knew exactly what was going to happen. When Nicole met with the directing staff in the mirror room during the premiere episode, they shocked her by bringing up an article about her ex-boyfriend, Travis Kelce, and his girlfriend, Taylor Swift, even though she and her manager made sure with the production that there was not going to be any mention of her previous relationship. Well, that's why you're here, hun. That's why you're here. Of course they're going to bring it up. That is why you are here. I was completely floored, Nicole told Decider over a Zoom interview. But I think that the overall purpose of the whole conversation was really to allow me to open up emotionally, but also to tap into my strength. And that's what this entire process has really taught me, that my mind is so much stronger than I could have ever imagined. During her chat with the what? The DS? What the fuck is the DS? As a woman in the public eye in general, a lot of my success is attributed to how I cost back that I went. And in this situation, nobody can take the success story from me. I did this. It was my great. I mean, to her credit, I don't know if I would have lasted on that show, but there's a headline about her touching Deion Sanders on the shoulder. Are they fucking? Is like, truly, that's an actual story that's online. Kayla Nicole is sharing her relationship regrets nearly 3 years after her and Travis Kelce's breakup. She described the struggle and challenge of dating a professional athlete while speaking to People on Friday. I thought she didn't want to fucking talk about Travis Kelce anymore in Special Forces, but she's talking about it in People? Jesus Christ! Here's another quote. It is a choice. Their schedules require a lot, especially if it's long distance and you find yourself kind of putting your goals and your dreams on the back burner to support theirs. You're putting your goals and your dreams on the back burner, or are you dating a player making an NFL salary? And no judgment there. No judgment. I would 100%, if I were dating a lady who was making a shit ton of money and she gave me the option to be a stay-at-home dad, oh yeah, I would support the shit out of her goals. But like, I've seen Kayla Nicole's resume reel starting with the Ween Awards, and like, yo, you dated a famous person. Now he's dating a more famous person. You haven't dated him in 3 years, and your entire brand is built off of talking about your ex. And yeah, I'll admit it, it pisses me off. People magazine headline, Kayla Nicole reveals the biggest challenge of dating an athlete and the advice she has for women who are exclusive. Oh my God. When Nicole dated Kelce, she shared that she never identified with the term that's commonly used to define partners of professional athletes. I never referred to myself as a wag. I feel doctors' wives don't call themselves dags, you know what I mean? The sports broadcaster poses. Again, fuck off calling her a sports broadcaster. She's not a sports broadcaster. She's not. She doesn't do that professionally. She is an influencer who happens to have a really good manager. Can we start talking about her manager who keeps on getting her these interviews where she just says the same shit over and fucking over again about Travis Kelce? She's not a sports broadcaster. She's not a journalist. She's not a sports personality. She's none of those things. Can we stop? She is someone that gets asked the same question over and over again, and she continues to answer it, and I get it. It continues to get her paid and keep her relevant. I get it, but fuck. I feel doctors' wives don't call themselves dags. You know what I mean? I don't know why that even became a thing, aside from the TV show, but I get it. Nicole went on to list the difficult aspects of pursuing a romantic relationship with an athlete, including the time consumption of their commitments to the team and constant travel for game. God, this People magazine. I think that dating an athlete is a choice. Yes, it's a choice. It's a very lucrative choice. Nothing wrong with it. Again, I don't judge. If you have the ability to date someone who makes money, go fucking do it. It can be a challenge for any women, especially if it's long distance. Finding a balance in life is definitely a struggle. Anyone who's dating a pro athlete, I say this. Girl, put you first. Love your man down, but also remember who you are and what your goals are too. And I think Kayla Nicole should have a goal of being someone that doesn't just talk about Travis Kelce and turning it into like a fucking advice piece. This is what I learned. Elsewhere in her interview with People, Nicole opened up whether she's ready to find love again having been vocal in the past about the overwhelming public attention she received after her split from Kelce. Oh, you mean like once a fucking month? I'd hope she's ready to find love again. Babe, it's been 3 years. Fuck. Oh. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this. Okay? Done with it. Because all of a sudden now my brand is turning into, I just get mad reading about fucking Kayla and Nicole. And I'll admit it, I'm fucking jealous that this person has somehow turned dating someone famous into being rich. I guess not rich. Into relevance though, fame. Like she's still milking it. It's been 3 years. The horse been dead for a while. She's still making it happen. How? It's incredible. And yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Someone texted in. Yeah, she's more relevant than you'll ever be. I know. Fuck. What the fuck? I work hard. I try to talk about more than this. This has worked for me somehow on social media, but fuck. Here I am. This is my brand. I'm talking about the woman that won't stop talking about her ex. This makes me feel like shit a little bit. I appreciate you, Swifties, for patting me on the back as I continue to just get pissed off and yell about this over and over and over and over and over and over again. But fuck. I mean, what could I do to get clout? Have I dated famous people? I don't think I've really dated anyone for longer than 5 months. So I don't even know if I could make a claim like that. Like I was on again, off again with someone who has a famous last name and is a part of that family. That's kind of it though. Like I got nothing except for talking about Kayla and Nicole. And on that note, I'm going to stop. Kayla, I'm begging you, babe. By the way, I find you very attractive. You're a strong, powerful, independent woman. And maybe this isn't your fault, all these headlines that are coming up. Maybe it's your fucking manager who keeps on booking you for all these things. But you got to stop. You got to move on. You got to stop doing interviews talking about him. Just refuse to answer the question. If you want to build your own thing, you got to build your own thing. You got to put in the work. If you want to be a sports broadcaster, which I don't believe you are, going on the red carpet of something is not journalism. Like you get paid for access essentially. And okay, you're asking somebody 1 or 2 questions, but like that's not really creating content. It's not, in my opinion. I look down on it. I've done it a couple of times. I hated myself afterwards. It's terrible. You're like basically going up to as many people as you possibly can and kind of inconveniencing them as they walk into an event. Oh, please, come here. Hey, let me ask you a question. Hey, what are you wearing? You know, like that shit. Fuck it. It's terrible. It's awful. I never want to do it again. I've done it. I've said it just a second ago. It sucks. It just makes you feel terrible as somebody in those shoes. I'd rather sit in what looks like my mom's basement and just rant about shit. Stupid shit like this. Because sometimes I'm funny when I rant. But Kayla and Nicole, you gotta slow this stuff down, okay? I'd appreciate it if you did. And on that note, that's going to wrap up today's edition of the Gallant Says podcast. We do this thing weekdays, starting at 4 p.m. CT live on YouTube at Paul Gallant. If you haven't already, like this video and subscribe. It's on Twitch at Gallant Says. If you're more of a Twitcher, give me a sub. YouTube and Twitch give you the best experience of this show. It's on X or Twitter at Gallant Says. It's on Instagram at Sports Gallant. Please follow me on that. It's also on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Like my page Monday through Friday around 4 p.m. Central Time and occasionally after major Houston sporting events. After the fact, it's available wherever you get your podcasts. So if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review me on Apple or Spotify or both. If you roast me in that review, I'll read it on the air. Until Monday at 4 p.m., so long, farewell, go Eagles in the Super Bowl, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles, and have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Peace!